object groups. So far the access list we have seen, it is used with the IP addresses. And what are the objects and object groups actually? So object groups are many types. Okay, in the object groups, we can use networks, we can use services, security services, ICMP, users. We can use the object groups. For example, one object can be attached. ASA has the many object and object groups. You can attach or detach object from one or more object groups when needed. Objects are not duplicated, but can be reused wherever you need. And as explained, it can be used in NAT and access list, and also in the VPN as well. There are many types of object actually. One is a network object, one is a service object, one is a protocol, and one is an ICMP. And here I can show you what does it mean. So look at this. If you go into the firewall, and you will see objects. And if you try to create, this is a network objects. Okay, a network object can be host, mean one IP, a range. It can be a network. It can be a fully qualified domain. Okay, then there is a network groups. There is a group, object groups actually. There's a users and user groups actually, security and security groups actually, and there is a services as well. Okay. And let's see what is the benefit actually. If you look at this, so if you don't use the object or object groups, what is going to happen? What happen? Your access list can go from top to bottom, and you can see this is the example of when you are using the access list without an object and object groups. So you see, you need one entry for the same host, same destination, one entry for WW, one entry for HTTPS, one entry for SMTP. Similarly, another entry for another host going to a different one. Okay, the more entry you are doing, actually creating on the firewall or any network device, the more load it has. Everybody is clear or not clear?
Yes, clear, sir.
Okay. Just a question. Isn't like more specific the better? So using access list will be really specific. Isn't that?
That's different thing. That's different thing. That's different thing. We will come back. That is the optimization. But I'm just trying to give you the concept of why we use object. I mean, the live without object groups and live with object groups.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So don't worry about optimization, specific, or all these things. That's different things. But this, your concept is right. Those concept is right. But this is, I'm telling you, if we are using the IP access list. So for example, if I want to create an access list, and let's say this is the access list rules we have. This is very simple application. So if I just change the IP access list right now. Okay. So let's say I create the access list for the, not the IP, but the TCP, for example. So I'm using the SMTP. So you can see this is one of the SMTP. Another access list I need. So I copy this. Another access list I need for the, let's say, HTTP. Okay, another access list I need, for example, I'm copying this, I'm pasting it here. I need for the HTTPS. Okay, another access list I need. So basically the idea is when the top firewall goes from top to bottom. Okay, this is, for example, telnet. So can you see this? I have one source, one destination, and I have multiple services. How many access list entries I need here?
At least 4 or 5.
Look at this. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, so how many access lists we need? So in order to allow SSH telnet from the same source and destination, I need actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 access list. Okay, so and the problem is when the firewall goes from the top to the bottom. Okay, and if you have more and more access lists, it takes more time. It is not very optimal way to do these access lists this way. This is a very old school method. So you need to work on this, and we need to come up with kind of a solution. Okay, another solution can be like we can use the objects and object groups. So in this situation, we can create different object groups, for example. Okay, so rather than I can use this way, this is one of the way. It will work anyway. There is no problem. There is no harm with it. But what we can do is we can optimize it by, rather than having multiple access list entry, we can do, if that is the way, we can do with one entry. Okay, and how we can do this, I will show you in a minute. So if you look at the diagram we have, so how many, we have one network here and two networks here and some multiple networks on this side as well. So rather than I can create what? I can create the traffic is still flowing. There is no problem at all. If you go to the machine,
Create a group.
yeah. You see this is working. I can go to the telnet, for example. You can see it's working. And let's see which access list it hit here. You will see which access list. So this means that this access list will be hit. You see there is one entry here. Okay, and then for the HTTP there is one entry. Okay, the access list is working, that's fine, but the problem is it's creating more. We need to create more multiple entries from there. Okay, and this is creating a time. This is wasting our time. The firewall is, the rules are not optimal. That's why where we need to use the object groups. So rather than we can create objects. Actually, objects are object groups. Objects mean one network. And with the object groups, you can have multiple object groups inside there. Okay, so for example, as of now, just want to show you one more thing. If I go to 172.168.21.1, you'll see it's denied. Yeah, it is denied. If I go to my monitoring, for example, login. This is my real-time login. Source IP. It's denied. And let's see the, here you can see. That's the, you can see this. Deny source this because of the destination access list, it doesn't have the entry. So basically, I'm sending the traffic from this machine into the DMZ network. Yeah, and you can see for 2020 it is working, but for the 172.16.21 it's not working. Okay, so traffic is coming from this network, it is fine, but traffic for this network, it's not working. So as a result, what we can do, we can create multiple more entries. Okay, so I can create more access list entries here, and then I will allow the traffic. So I will be copying, let's say, telnet SSH, for example. Copy and paste. This time I'm using the destination will be DMZ21, and DMZ21 is the that's my network, DMZ21. Yeah. See, I am going to apply and I'm going to refresh it. Now, if I go to my, now you can see the traffic is open. So now what happened? Basically, we need to add one more entry. Okay, one more entry for a different network. The source is the same. The source is the same, but the destination is different. Is it clear? And it's the same services. Okay, for 2020, same telnet. For DMZ 172.168, this network is the same entry, same port as well. Okay, so what is the way we can actually combine this? So basically, I'm going to use the objects. So first of all, how I can use the object? Just a name. Let's say I just put the name VLAN21. Okay, name can be anything. Even you just say A, that's fine. If you say MAS, LAN, is it a network? Okay, apply. So you see, I just created objects here. That object can be, and what you can do, you can better to just associate with the, so when I see the name, I know which network is associated with it. Okay, then also I create the DMZ 1 and 2. Another network I need, that's a name. Name, as I said, can be one single name as well. And this is the host. Okay. And then I can see the DMZ, another one. Okay, so I created three objects basically. one for LAN side, one for DMZ side. So these are the objects right now. Now what I can do is I can also create the object group. Why I need to create an object group? And in the group, actually, I can combine these DMZ network together. So you see this? I have combined them. So now there is a group as well. So first of all, I created two objects. Within the objects, I created two. I have attached these two objects here. So the benefit is later on, if I need to add another network, I don't need to create another entry in the access list. I will be adding this into the networks objects group, and that's it. Right? Now, another thing is you need to create how many services we need. We need services object as well. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is the mass DMZ services, and which services I need. I can select from the domain. Okay, I can select echo, I can select FTP, I can select HTTP, HTTPS. Okay, these are the services I have. SSH as well. Okay, so multiple services I can put in one group. So 1 minute, I just need the telnet. There is a telnet, sorry.
It's there at the bottom. Yeah.
So you see, I have now created a groups as well. This is the services group, like the port. These are the network. So first of all, we created objects, network object. Then we created object groups. Wherever you find more than multiple networks, you create a group actually. Now I'm going into the object groups, and I'm creating a rule here on the top here, and I'm saying traffic coming from 21 network. What is the source IP? Okay, destination point of view, we are using the group. Okay. And services. So you can see how many services we have. Done. Okay, so if you select that, you can make it on the top as well. Clear? So basically, if I just delete these, so basically what I have done, how many services we have? And this is a group. So rather than I'm using the IP addresses, because it can create multiple and long list of IP access entries, actually long list of per access list can become bigger and bigger, which can be a challenge. So rather than I'm using the network itself or the services itself and creating more and more entries, I can achieve everything within one access list entry, not the multiple one. Okay, so you see this, these are the services, they are two networks. And now if you want to test that, you should see that it is also working. So everything is working here. This is, you can see the TCP session is built. Okay, on the firewall connection, you can see this is working. Show run access list now. As you can see, these other entries are inactive. Only this entry is working. Show run object groups, objects. these are the objects I have created and object groups. And within the objects previously I have created, I'm inserting those objects in the object groups. Now the benefit is very simple benefit. Let's say there is another network I have introduced here, and that network is, let's say, 192 network, for example. What I need to do is right now very simple. Okay, I need to go, I don't need to create another entry. I will find out what is the source, what is the destination, and if it's not matching to this group actually, okay, if it's not there, which is the services, and it need maybe FTP. So what you can do is you can go to the objects, create an object, network object. Okay, is it a host IP? I'm just creating just to show you. And that network objects can now be part of this. So I just extended the object groups. I don't need to make any changes here because we are using the object groups. So this means less intervention with the access list entries. Is it clear? So now you see, previously it was applied to only one LAN addresses. Now we apply to 3 LAN addresses. Everybody is clear about that?
Yeah, very much clear.
Okay, excellent. So that's the whole concept of using objects and object groups. So here we can see we can create the objects groups and we can apply the objects inside there. So this is the services object. Within the services, we can apply more and more services. Then we can use the access list and use the object groups inside. Okay. So this is the simple. If you want to create an object, you can create an object within the command line as well. Let's show you the command line configuration as well. If you want to create an object. Okay, network. Let's say MAS is the, and you can see okay, enter, and here you can see, is it a host, is it a network, is it a range, it is a subnet, whatever it is. Okay. So the objects can be a multiple, it can be a subnet, it can be a range, it can be anything. And object groups, within the object group, you call the objects which you have already created. Clear? So I'll already explain it to you how we can apply this access list. Access to group command, you have applied it. So that's the whole concept of access list using the object groups.